guys, welcome back to Mazatlán. I'm at the Parque Central right now, another new spot to show you guys. And right behind me you can see is the aquarium. So that's a really cool building I told you about. I went however long ago that was, but really cool architecture. Give you another little view here. And then basically this park has a little lake or lagoon here with all these pathways going through it. So decided I'd come today and explore by bike now that I have a bike. This is where I came not too long ago to see the Christmas lights. And I hadn't been here before, so yeah, just figured it'd be another good option to bike around, which I just did. It's pretty small, especially by bike. It doesn't take too long, but it's nice as you can see. So before I get into it, yeah, another week's gone by, but I realized I've been here 3 months now, so past my 3-month mark. I'm planning to be here about a couple more months, more or less. Don't have an exact return date, but that's the general plan. And some more things I noticed here. Oh, another word I learned a little while back, but that was new to me, was güero or güera. So it's like another term. Basically, it could be either for blonde or white person, but more slang, which I hadn't heard prior. So I never think of myself that way because I'm not blonde and I'm like tanner than a lot of people here, I would even say. Or I'm not the whitest anyways, but could be referred to as güera. So there's that I learned. Which brings me to, I'm usually not the most observant person, I would say, but other people have pointed things out, so then I try to pay more attention. But with the people from here versus like other parts of Mexico, and honestly I hadn't really noticed, but when my friends were visiting before at the end of November, a couple of them are originally from Mexico City, so they were actually pointing things out that I hadn't noticed at all. But like the style with guys, I think in general you do find more fair-skinned people here, although it is a mix. People are generally speaking a little bit taller than you'd find in other parts of Mexico, which thinking about it more, I was like, that kind of makes sense because it tends to be always the case. The farther north you go, people tend to be taller. So I've even kind of seen that in the US, like on the West Coast, Washington versus San Diego. Had a friend point that out. In Europe, so Scandinavian countries, people tend to be way taller. So it is interesting. That's also a thing here in general. Like, I would say a lot of people here don't fit the stereotype of what most people think of when they think of Mexico. And since baseball's way bigger here than soccer, you see like a lot of people wearing baseball jerseys, ball caps. A lot of guys have beards. And then one of my other friends who visited was pointing out, he was like, man, there's so many beautiful women here. And I was like, you think it's different here compared to other parts of Mexico? And he's like, yeah, I think it's better here. So we'll say overall better looking for men and women, Mazatlán, compared to other parts of Mexico. And again, these are things like I wasn't even really noticing so much. But then once they were starting to point things out, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they are right. Never really paid too much attention. So a little bit more for you about Mazatlán and things I or others have noticed here. To catch you back up on the last week, I did play basketball later that day after I took the last video. The next day, I went surfing earlier in the day, and then later went for a bike ride with my friend Powell. I hadn't seen him in forever, like since whenever the last time it was that played basketball before. But took a little bike ride around, then went to the embarkment basically, and ended up catching this cruise ship that was just heading out. So it was kind of cool timing just getting to see that, because I know cruise ships come here, but never really paying attention or don't see them up close. And there were a bunch of people there, and like everyone's kind of waving, and there's people on the boat shouting out and whatever. So got to see that. On the days are already blending together per usual. Surf hasn't been great overall, so I haven't been surfing as much, I would say, lately. But aside from that, for whatever reason, Wednesday is not coming to me. We'll skip that one for now. But anyways, oh, I know what Wednesday was. Okay. So I ended up going back to that gym I had told you guys about, that I had like a couple free classes and I had tried out different foods and stuff from here. Let me show you guys the view too, because another nice view where I'm walking towards. Anyways, I went back to try that second class, which I went later in the morning at 11, because they do classes in the morning and in the evening, and no one was there, like people taking classes. So again, kind of got my own private class again, but the owners were there this time. So definitely makes you really sore, but good workout. And then hung out afterwards, actually talking to one of the owners for a while about like the business, and it was really interesting learning just like how they're doing everything and their goals of basically like helping people learn more about health, you know, not just going to the gym, but more of community, and also talking about like the culture of what's normal here. And a lot of it's like people just needing to learn and educating people about health and nutrition, and along with that comes working out. But ended up chatting for a while, and then later went over to my friend Kyle's and was there for a bit working on some stuff, but hung out with them later. Kyle was grilling per usual, so made some brats, more or less. He was calling them choripan, but it was way more American style. Hung out there, and then met up with my friend Aurora and some of her friends, and the other Aurora, who also surfs, a couple of others. Anyways, and went to the other Tres Islas. So I hadn't been there before. I had only been to the one kind of close to the centro, and this was the one kind of closer to the marina, really big. So it was just cool, again, checking out a different location. They ended up having karaoke night, which we did not end up doing. They were kind of wanting to, but by the time they asked, there was basically like not enough time left to get on the list. So just hung out there, and then went to one of the like friends of theirs' places afterwards for a bit, and that was it. That was Wednesday. Thursday wasn't much. There's been some days here when I'm working on stuff, and just to get out, I'm kind of like, oh, it'd be cool or just to get out, go grab a coffee somewhere. Plus I'm always enjoying exploring new spots, and when I was working remote in San Diego, I would go like once a week to work from the cafe, and also again just switch it up and try new spots. So I've done that a little bit here, but a lot of times by the time I get out, it's later in the day, and a lot of cafes similar to there close earlier, like maybe 2 or 3 or whatever. But here, which I've noticed a lot, not just Mexico, but I would say at least a lot of Latin America, since I'm well versed in Latin America, is Google is not always up to date. That's definitely something you learn here. So even if you look to see like, oh, what time do they close? It should still be open, whatever. Not always the case. So I went to, I think like 4 different spots trying to find a place that was still open. And even though they said they were open, they weren't open. And that was like around 2 something in the afternoon. So anyways, that was a little bit of an exploration that day. I did end up at the Starbucks right in front of the Malecón, which I hadn't been to yet. I'm always trying to do local, but I did want to go check it out at some point because it's like right in front of my place and also has a really nice view. And they always have some different things at Starbucks in different locations too. So I like to check that out anyways. So I ended up doing that. And then Friday was another pretty busy day. So let me see. Oh, okay. Coming back to me again. So again, the surf hasn't been great. I was already kind of waiting a while. Always playing that game of, is it worth it? Is it not? Should I go? Should I just do something else? And it rained a little bit, hardly, but it did. That was like Wednesday and Thursday, which again, super rare. It hasn't really rained at all since I've been here. I think one other day it barely drizzled. So I put off surfing and then decided, okay, I'll try Friday. I went to Brujas, and for the first time, I mean, I'll go in practically any conditions, and especially even more so now, it's like I have to take the bus there. So by the time I'm there, I'm like, I'm already here, you know, might as well. But for the first time I got there and I was like, it was really bad, where I was like, it's really not worth it going. It was so windy that day. You didn't even see sets. It was just like white caps, as we call them. So just like choppy conditions, and you would just see it just wasn't clean at all. There would just be like constant waves, but not like no form to them. It just wasn't enticing at all. So for the first time I was like, it's really not worth it. I'm not going to jump in. But again, I am already here. So I decided just to go run on the beach, and I hadn't walked down that part like too far down the beach. So I did get to see a little bit more of the beach, got some exercise. And then recently I had seen someone else from here in the surf group had posted these pictures, and I was like, where is that? It looks really cool. And it ended up being in Brujas. So there's basically where you surf, there's this little hill there. I actually took one of the videos from there one time. So when I was climbing up that hill, on the other side of the hill facing the ocean, there's like kind of this rock cliff on the other side. So I had seen a friend's photos and I was like, that looks cool, I want to explore that more. So I ended up walking back there. I should say scrambling. There's definitely areas where you're having to like climb up rocks and stuff like that, and always somewhat sketchy, but at the same time I'm like, why do I do these things? But I always do them anyways. So explored that area a lot. It's cool. It's just, again, like these like rock cliffs you're kind of looking at. You'd have to go at low tide. I don't know how far the water comes up, but I'm sure at some point it's too high to go like walking around there. And then there's this little cave if you climb up this one area. So anyways, I climbed up there, checked out the cave. It was actually went deeper than I thought. I was debating like how far in to go. Usually I'm always, again, up for exploring a bit more, even though people are like, that seems sketchy, I don't think I'd do that. But I did see bats in there, and it smelled pretty bad. I'm sure who knows how many people have pissed in there. There was some trash in there, so obviously like people know about it or hang out, who knows how often. But it went back pretty deep, at least. Like I couldn't tell where it ended. But the bats definitely deterred me. I was like, yeah, I don't want to get rabies. So and I've been in another scenario traveling years ago where I was like hoping dog bites wouldn't lead to rabies, so didn't want to take my chances anymore this time around with bats. And while I was up there, and at some point like came out of the cave, which again, you have to climb up a bit to get to this part. Anyways, one of my AirPods fell out and then basically like fell down, rolled down off this little ledge that you have to climb up to get to the cliff. So you can see I only have one now. Anyways, I couldn't find it. I tried looking afterwards, like everywhere it could have rolled down, but it's like a bunch of rocks, and anyways, I couldn't find it, so that sucks, but at least I got one. So that was during the day, Friday. Pretty much, yeah, ended up at Brujas, not surfing though, and exploring the beach and running. And then later on, I ended up going out. I didn't realize it was that first Friday, but I had heard that they were doing salsa not just Tuesdays now, but also Fridays at the same place, Ruiz Señor. And I was thinking about going, and not that it matters now because I don't have a schedule, but when you are working, it's just easier to go out on the weekend anyways than when you have to get up early. So decided to check that out, and then I ended up going with my friend, the one that I work with, Heel, to Tres Islas first. We stopped there, and my other friend Aurora was also there with some friends, so met there. Then we went to Ruiz Señor, so that was fun. Again, like dancing, they have bachata, salsa, and cumbia, which I'm never big into cumbia, but again, once you learn one, it's easier to cross over to others. So I never really remember cumbia that much, and then once we get going, I'm like, oh yeah, all right, now I got it. it was fun. And then from there, oh, the owner of Ruiseñor, she was there and her husband, which we had met them before when we went to sushi like a while back. They were also there. So we were hanging out with them, and then he's usually working at this other club, which I haven't yet been to, but plan to go at some point, called Banksy. But because of everything I had told you guys, with a lot of things being affected by like tourism going down. Anyways, she was telling me later how Banksy started closing now on Fridays, and they're only staying open on Saturdays now because they just weren't getting enough business coming in. And anyways, and he's always working, and so they were out because he was actually like getting to explore more of the nightlife himself now instead of working there all the time, managing it. And he had never been to Delorean, that one late night bar club kind of place that I had been to a while back, I told you guys. So we ended up going there after, and then my other friend Aurora and her friends like also ended up there, so I was hanging out with them. Anyways, it was pretty like full day Friday and night. Was definitely tired by the end of it, but it was fun. And then that gets me to Saturday. So Saturday I went back to Brujas to surf, to actually surf. It was really cold, definitely the coldest it's been. I used my spring suit and a rash guard this time. Waves were better than the day before. Nothing like spectacular, definitely better than the day before though. So I still went in. And then it was just super cold though. So it was better, not amazing. I stayed out there for a bit, but it was also like, I don't feel like I need to push it and be out here super long because it's freezing cold, and yeah, just like nothing spectacular. So next time I might actually wear a full suit. It's scary, but I've been trying to avoid it. It might be time. And then Kyle and his wife Angela were hanging out at the beach. She had messaged me, was like, hey, we're at the beach in case you're here, which I happened to be, and was like, I just gotten out of the water. So I ended up hanging out with them later. And just, yeah, hanging out at the beach pretty much Saturday. Sunday, didn't really do much. And then yesterday I biked around a bit as well along the boardwalk. Oh, I was again on a mission to like try a coffee shop, find somewhere that was still open because it was late again. This time it only took me 2 times to find a spot that was open, so that was good. I went to this place called Totorame, however you pronounce it. And it's not too far from my place, but it was good. I liked it. Also, like, if I do start working remotely at some point soon, I'm kind of scoping out areas too that might work for that in case I want to work from a cafe. So it was cute. I got a tiramisu latte because of course got to try any different flavors. That's one that I don't know if I've ever seen or rarely. And a little banana bread. Continued biking along the Malecon, and then up until Olas Altas, and then I was I basically mentioned to you guys a while back about like when I first got here, reaching out to people on couch surfing and connecting, trying to connect to people that way. So one of the girls I had like messaged on there a long time ago, but then she messaged back, and then like we hadn't spoken, and then out of the blue she kind of messaged me and was like, are you still in Mazatlán? I was like, yeah, let me know if you want to do something. So anyways, we had been chatting but like hadn't actually been able to get together yet, and then finally we met yesterday. She was basically in the centro and I was in Olas Altas, and again by bike everything's super close. So she was at Totem, which again is that other cute spot that I've been to a couple times now, which everyone seems to love. That place. It's really popular, even though I feel like I mostly see tourists in there, but it's a good spot. So she was hanging out there at the point. I was like, I'll come meet you. And so we hung out for a bit there, and anyways, it's nice like actually getting to hang out and meet in person. And that's about everything up until now. definitely been catching up on my fair share of movies lately, which is nice here because I guess depending how you look on it, plus side or downside, San Diego has a million things going on, which is fun and exciting, but it's also like people never know what to do because there's too many options. Here it's just more like simple, and I'm like, you got your things to do, and then you're not feeling like you're missing out all the time, or you're not like drinking more because you're just purely going out more or at the bar or whatever. It's more chill, which I've been enjoying. So yeah, that's pretty much everything up until now. Again, I've just been biking around here today, and we'll see what happens after that. Definitely just wanted a day to like enjoy the whole day instead of being productive. I've been trying to be productive even though I'm not working, like working. I am working on some stuff, but doing that part of the day as if it were my real full-time job, and then like a portion of the day go out and enjoy. But today I was at that point where I'm like, I just want to enjoy the day, the whole day, not just a few hours around sunset. So I'll give you guys one last view and then say goodbye. I forgot to mention, I think it's that building back there, or one of these, but when I came here last time and I went through again, they had this building where they had some animals in there for adoption, along with supposedly some other maybe like, kind of like little zoo, reptiles or whatever. I didn't see anything in there, but it was sad because they have dogs in there like for adoption, and I always feel bad. There's still some in there. I didn't see as many this time as last time though. But anyways, that's all for now, and talk to you guys maybe in another week. Bye.